Okay. So here, today we'll start with the Azure Databricks. So basically, when you talk about the Azure Databricks is basically a service. Azure Databricks is basically a service. So a service is what basically it's not only a service, but it's also called as a cloud service. So Azure Databricks is a cloud service where it is used to perform, okay, or where this is a cloud service introduced or owned by the Microsoft, owned by the Microsoft. That means Microsoft is marketing their cloud services. That is uh, that means here the Microsoft is marketing their cloud services with the name called what is that? Azure. The name called what is that? Azure. And whereas using the Azure Databricks, we can perform the following task here. The first one, that is nothing but you have it here. Okay, the first one, that is nothing but we have it here. The first one is called as the data migration, and then you have the data integration, then you have data summarization, and data visualization. That's it. So these are all the jobs, or these are all the tasks we can perform it using the Azure Databricks. So using the Azure Databricks, guys, using the Azure Databricks, we can perform the following tasks. What is that? So the Azure Databricks is a cloud service. Azure Databricks is a cloud service which is provided by the Microsoft to perform the job of what is that? Data migration, data integration, data summarization, and then we have the data visualization. These are all the tasks done by the this. These are all the tasks done by the Azure Databricks. So guys, when it comes to the Azure Databricks or any other thing, any other cloud service we have it, basically the thing starts from the collection of data. That is called as what? Data collection. So we can say data. So what do you mean data? Data is nothing but data is everything for us. What is it? That is called as information. Data is nothing but what? Information, guys. So the whole job, the whole graph starts from here. What is the data? Data is nothing but what? Information. Okay. Wherein, guys, when we talk about, so yesterday already we have seen what is a cloud and what are the things you have in a cloud. Yesterday already we have discussed that. But today we'll directly start with the data. So what is the data? Data is nothing but it is the information on which we are going to work as a data engineer. Okay. Whereas from where do we get the data? We get the data from the source of data. That is nothing but we get the data from the source of data. And now, guys, what is the source of data? Can you tell me what is the source of data? From where we can get the data? That is nothing but the business. Business is the major source, everyone. Business is the major source of getting the data. Business is the major source of getting the data. So what type of business? Let us say, for example, social networking sites. Social networking sites. So social networking sites we get the data from the social networking sites. So now tell me, what do you mean by social networking sites, guys? And what are the social networking sites we have it? Social networking sites are those here we have it, such as we call it as a Facebook. such as we call it as what? Facebook. Social networking sites are those which we call it as what is that? Facebook. Which we call it as what? Facebook. Social networking sites are those which we call it as the Facebook. Okay. Then you have what is that? Instagram. Then the next one, what is it? You have it? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Okay. Then we have the WhatsApp. All this is called as what? The source of generating the data, where this generates the data. So which is called as what? Which is called as what? Massive amount of data. Which is called as what? Massive means very huge amount of data. Massive amount of data. They generate the massive amount of data. That is called as the huge data or the bulky data. Okay, guys, everyone. So it is called as what? Massive or huge amount of data. That is called as a, yes, massive or a huge amount of data. Massive or the huge amount of data. That is nothing but we have the source of data. So now apart from this, what is the other source of generating the data? Obviously, the source of getting the data is the business. What type of other business are there from where we can expect the data? That is called as a banking applications. So banking applications are those, these are the applications on which or using which we get the data. That is called as what? Banking application. That is called as what? Banking applications. So banking applications are used at which level? At the banking level. Am I right or not? These banking applications are used at the bank's level. Okay. At the bank's level, we get the data at the bank level. So here we use these applications at the banking level. Hence, this also generates the data, where it is also referred as what? It is also referred as massive amount of data. That is nothing but the huge data, which we call it as a huge data. Okay. So massive amount of data is generated even at the banking sector level. And apart from this, guys, what is the other source of getting the data? Obviously, the business, where here the data is generated by the machines. So we can say machine generated data. Okay. Machine generated data. So means what? This data is generated by the machines. So whatever machines we can have, guys, which generates the data. For example, I'm writing it here. Your CT scan machine is there. Then you have that ECG machine is there. This is called as what? Massive amount of data generated by the machines. The machine automatically generates the data based on the subject. So hence it is called as what? Machine generated data. So what are all the source? Now we are discussing what are all the source from where we get the data basically. Apart from this, we can also get the data from the business, and that is nothing but human generated data. So what do you mean human generated data? The data which is generated by the, yes, the data which is generated by the human being, that is you and me, generates the data. So this is called as what? Human generated data. And this will also be massive in the nature. Okay. And apart from this, we can also get the data, guys, from the business. That is called as what? From the IoT sensors. IoT sensors. So what are IoT sensors? These sensors are those, okay, which measures the pressure, temperature, gas, wind speed. All these are called what? IoT sensors. Okay, such as whenever we travel, okay, whenever we travel in the outskirts of the city, you will be finding out, or you might have observed sometime. Okay, there will be there will be a table fan of a structure, very big table fan, rotating very slowly. Am I right or not? Rotating very slowly. What does it measures? It measures the wind speed. Am I right or not? It measures the wind speed basically. And how it generates the data? That particular table fan of structure will be connected to the computer. and whatever the data is measured or whatever the speed of the wind is measured, okay, that will be transferred to the computer. So hence we can say the IoT sensors are the one of the major source of generating the big data. So hence this massive amount of data, what is generated by all the business is called as, what is that? Yes, guys, is called as what? Big data. Is called as what? Big data. So what do you mean by big data, guys, everyone? Big data is nothing but, it generates, guys, big data is nothing but, it generates, everyone, big data is nothing but, it generates, or big data is nothing but the massive amount of data or huge volume of the data. Huge volume of the data, and this huge volume of the data we get it from what? The following sources, whereas this data is classified or divided into the following categories. What is that? The first one is called as a structured data. Structured data. And the second one is called as a semi-structured data. And that is another is nothing but what? Unstructured data. So basically, this massive amount of data is classified into three categories. What is that? Structured data, semi-structured data, and as well as what is that? Unstructured data, guys. Now let us see what is a structured data. Yeah, everyone is following. Please respond. Yes, guys, please respond. I want a reply from all of you, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So now the structured data. So what is the structured data? Structured data is nothing but basically the data which is recorded in the form of proper structure, that is called as what? In the form of a table, or we can say in the tabular format. In the tabular format. That is in the form of, what is that? The data in the table is recorded in the form of what? Rows and
Columns.
yes, columns, rows and columns. The data which is recorded in the proper form of rows and columns is called as a structured data. For example, guys, for example, here I have a table. Let us give the table name as a employees. And here I'm giving the name, ID number, salary, and job. Okay. These are the four columns I have it. Under this, whatever the data you have it, consider I'm using ALN. And the next one, what is that you have it? Okay. ALN, some ID number like this. And the salary is 3,000 or let us say 30,000. And you have a clerk. Then you have the Bobby. 40,000. Senior clerk. Then you have the Cal. 50,000. Let's say assistant manager. And then you have, what is it? David. 60,000. So these are all what? These are all the rows here, guys. These are called as what? Rows and columns. The data which the user can understand it very easily. The data which the user can understand it very easily, can read the data, can use the data is called as what? Structured data. So this structured data need not make any changes. Need not make any changes on the structured data, guys. Always the structured data will be using the data in the as it is form. Okay, in as it is form. This is the first job of This is the first job of, yes guys, this is the first job of what is that? Collection of data. That is something about structured data. Whereas apart from this, you have the next one that is called as what, guys? Everyone, semi-structured data. So what do you mean by semi-structured data? Yes, the data which is not in a fully structured format, but still the user can understand this data. The data which is not in the fully structured format, but still the user can understand the data. That is called as what? Semi-structured data. So semi-structured data means what? The data which is recorded in the form of a JSON file, the data which is recorded in the XML file, the data which is recorded in the HTML file is called as the semi-structured data. Now let us discuss what is a JSON file first of all. Okay, I'll explain you everything, don't worry. So what is a JSON file? So JSON is nothing but basically the JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation File. What's that? JavaScript Object Notation File, JSON. Okay, where the data is recorded in the form of a key value pair. Where the data is recorded in the form of a key value pair, and the data which is recorded in a key value pair is called as JSON document. Is called as what? JSON document. Is called as what, guys? Everyone? Is called as a JSON document. JSON document. Okay. How the data is recorded in the JSON document? Let us try to see this. Okay. So the data in the JSON form is recorded in the form of a curly braces. This is called as an opening curly brace, and this is called as a closing curly brace, guys. Between these two curly braces, the data is recorded always. How? Let us see it here, everyone. So now, first of all, what is a JSON format is? The data in the JSON format is recorded in the form of a key and value pair. Key and value pair. Am I right or not? What are the key here? The keys are nothing but the column. Sorry. The keys are nothing but what's that? Column names are called as the keys here. So here you have a column name. Can you see it? This is the first key. So can you see the keys are always placed in the double quotes? Name is equal to, name is the colon. What is the name you have it, guys? Can you tell me? The name is the alien. Here you have it, is a comma. Then goes to the next line. So what is the next key? You have it, tell me now. The next key is the ID. And now close the quotes. Make sure always the keys are placed under the double quotation marks. Okay, name is the alien and ID is what? Normal ID we have it. And here we have, what is it, guys, everyone? The value for this. What is the value you have it? 221. And as this is a numeric value, it is not placed under the quotes. And the next one you have, what is it, guys? The next key is sal. Sal is the key. And now the value for the sal is, what is it? 30,000, comma. And then you have the next key is, what is that, guys, everyone? Next key is what? Job. And the job, the value for the job is what? The value for the job is clerk. So clerk is a new character value now. So here is it is placed under the quotes. That's it, guys. So here you have a data. That's it. Now finally, once this is completed, can you see here? This is basically here closed. This is called as a closing brace and this is called as an opening brace. Whereas between the closing and opening brace, we will have the values for the data. Where, as you know, the data in the JSON format is recorded, where the value in the JSON format is recorded in the form of a key value pair. So what are the keys, guys? The name is the key. The value is the alien. Together they are called as what? Key value pair. Together they are called as what? Key value pair. That is a combination of key and value is called as a pair. So hence we can say what? Key value pair. Hence it is called as what? Key value pair, guys, everyone. Okay. So hence this is called as a JSON document. This entire value is called as what? A JSON document. It is called as what, guys? A JSON document. In the same way, guys, everyone, in the same way, if you have a second row to be written, and whenever you want the second row to be written here, can you see here? Here you have the data. What is that? Simply, can you see, you can change the data here. Instead of Alan, I can give it here Bobby. Instead of this one, I can make it as a ID number 222. And here I can make it as 40,000. And here I can make it as what's that? Senior club.
Senior club.
That's it. So these are the value you have it. Whereas the difference between the first document and second document is differentiated by using a comma here. So beside this, there will be a comma placed here. Now, it means that there is a following second JSON document. So this is called as the semi-structured data. So by using this data, you can understand the data or not. In fact, we can understand the data. But clearly, you know, to generate a report, we generally don't use the JSON files. We convert these JSON files into the structured format. Okay, this is the first type of thing we have it, the first type of document or first type of semi-structured data. And the second one is what is it? XML. Guys, if I write the same data in XML, how does it write? Tell me now. So XML data, where the data is recorded in the form of a tags. This is called as a root tag. And this is called as a row tag. This is called as a row tag, root tag, and row tag. Now, can you see? These are the two tags. This is called as a row tag and the root tag and row tag, where this is called as a opening root tag, opening root tag, and this is called as a opening root tag. This is called as opening row tag. Whereas the following here it is called as a closing root tag, closing row tag. So these are the two type of tags you will have it. Okay. So now can you see here how to make out the difference? Let us see first of all what is the root tag, what is the value filled up. What is the name of your table, guys? The name of the table is what? Employees, na everyone. The name of the table is employees. So here I can say what is that? The root tag is employees. That's it. And what about the row tag? Row tags are nothing but what? The name is the first row tag. And now closing. So the difference between the opening and closing is slash. Slash means what? I'm closing the row tag. I'm closing the row tag. And now between these two, you will have the value. What's the value? You have it ALN. Likewise. In the same way, guys, again, you have the next row tag. What is the row tag? You have it. The row tag is nothing but here you have it ID number as the row tag. This is the opening and this is the closing. ID. Closing means what? Here you will have a slash here. That's it. Between these two, you have the value. So 2 to 1. That's it, guys. In the same way, the third one, that is the third tag is what? You have the sal. And then after the sal, you have the closing sal. $30,000. Now the next one is what's a job. Job tag. It's called the opening job tag and closing job tag. And between these two, you will have the value. What's the value? You have it clerk. So even if you have a character data or the numeric data, the data will be same. So finally, once it is done, guys, so this is called as a row tag. Now the root tag is closed here like this. Okay, so this is called as a XML format. Getting my point, everyone? So this is the another form of data. This is the another form of data where you will have what is that? Root and row tags. Root and what is that? Row tags. Root tag and row tags. That's it, guys. Then afterwards, you have a semi-structured data. So, guys, what do you mean semi-structured data? Sorry, what do you mean unstructured data? The unstructured data is a third form of data which we will be dealing as a data engineer, where this is basically, this does not has any kind of a structure. This does not has any kind of a structure, guys. This does not has any kind of a structure, such as the photos in your mobile phone, the videos, photos in your mobile phone, the videos, and then you have chat histories there, WhatsApp chat history, and then you can say voice notes. These all are called as what? Unstructured category. Whereas 80% of the data in the real time you'll get it in unstructured format only. Whereas out of only the whole data, 20% of the data only you'll get it in this form. That is called a structure and semi-structure. The data in the structure or the semi-structure, we get it in only what is it? How much form? 20% of the format only we get it. Okay. Only the 20% of the format we will be getting it in what? Structured and semi-structured. Where 80% of the data you will get it in which form here, guys? Unstructured format only. So this is how we have the data we have it. So these are the three categories of data here we're going to deal with in Azure. Okay. So whereas to store this kind of a data in Azure, to store this data in Azure, we require what is it, guys? Azure storages. We require what is that? Azure storages. We require what's that? Azure storages. So whereas every storage has a different story, that is nothing but the first type of a storage here we call it as a what? Azure blob storage. Where this blob storage means what? It stands for binary large object, and where it can store up to maximum of 40 GB data, and this is called as a limited storage. This is called as what? Limited storage. This is called as what, guys? Limited storage. This is called as a limited storage.
Excuse me, sir.
Pardon me. Tell me.
Okay. This Azure block storage will cover structured or unstructured data, sir?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. It can store, yes, it can store the following type. What is that? We can store the following type of data. We can store the structured data. We can store the structured data. We can store the semi-structured data. And also we can store the unstructured data. The blob storage can store any kind of a data here. Structured, semi-structured, and as well as the unstructured format of data. Okay? Clear, everyone? Structured, semi-structured, and unstructured format of data we can store it into the Azure blob storage. Okay. Whereas apart from this, guys, you have, this is the limited storage. So one more storage is there, that is called as a advanced storage in Azure, that is called as Azure Data Lake Gen 2, where this is called as a unlimited storage. Okay, where this can also store what is that? Structured, semi-structured, and as well as the unstructured data. The three type of data we can store it even the into the what is that? Azure. Yes, into what is that? Azure Data Lake Gen 2, wherein the third type of storage, guys, here you have it as what? Azure SQL DB. So Azure SQL DB means what? SQL database. Here, as it's a database, we can store only the structured data, guys. No other type of data is stored here. Except the structured data, no other type of data is stored. That is called as the Azure SQL database. Then afterwards, you can see here. So the fourth one is what is that? Azure Cosmos DB, wherein here in the Cosmos DB, we can store what is that? Guys, we can store the following. What is that? Structured and semi-structured data we can store it, but not the unstructured. Okay. And the fifth one, we have it as what? Azure Elastic Pool. That means here, when it is a elastic pool, it is that is something but the database. Group of databases are stored here. And when you talk about the group of databases, obviously the structured data is stored here. And the next one, what is it? You have it. Likewise, you have the Azure Synapse Analytics. So when we talk about the Azure Synapse Analytics is basically a data warehouse of Azure. This is called as data warehouse. When there is a data warehouse, that means only the structured data is stored here. So this is called as a data warehouse of Azure. Data warehouse of Azure, guys. So likewise, totally you have how many storages, guys? Totally you have 90 plus storages. How many? 90 plus storages are available into the 90 plus storages which are available into the Azure. That is nothing but storages. So how many storages, how they looks like, what are the other storages, that we will see it from tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow we'll start the practicals on this, guys. Okay. So that's it, guys, for the day. And I'm ending up the class here. So we'll continue tomorrow at the same time. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.